Hey guys, what's up? Zijin here, and recently Jumper just released their new EZBook 3, their update to the incredibly popular EZBook 2. I was a huge fan of the EZBook 2, and the EZBook 3 looks to be a significant upgrade with the new Apollo Lake processor. One caveat though, the Chewy lapbook features slightly better specs on paper while costing less as well, and this is a big problem for the EZBook 3 considering how much I like the Chewy lapbook as a laptop. So let's take a look at the EZBook. It has the same design language as the EZBook 2 with a few key differences. It has really slim bezels around the screen, which not only make this laptop look very nice, but it also serves to reduce the overall footprint of the laptop as well. It also does not have an aluminum lid like the EZBook 2. I find this laptop quite attractive, but only when the laptop is open. When the laptop is closed, it looks like an ordinary laptop. But when it is open, anything that is not body has the same color scheme. Everything is black, the bezels, the keyboard, and the trackpad, which really makes this laptop look nice. For ports, we have the standard ones you find in most Chinese laptops, two USB ports, one of which is USB 3, and both of which are capable of powering external hard drive, a micro SD card slot, as well as a micro HDMI port as well. So the keyboard here is the first downside to this laptop. And if you know me, I'm never really one to complain about keyboard flex because I'm generally pretty forgiving. But the flex here is a lot even for me. I find it distracting enough that it distracts from my typing experience and generally is not a good experience. I also had an issue with the tab key where it would not depress properly, but that is most likely a QC issue, but it's something you should be aware of as well. The trackpad works decently well. Single finger gestures are pretty accurate, and multi-finger gestures are pretty good as well. Slightly behind the lapbook in terms of accuracy, but it's not noticeable unless you have both of them side by side. The trackpad is a little small. I really do believe that Jumper could have made the trackpad bigger by utilizing the empty space around the trackpad. The display here is a 14.1-inch 1080p matte display, and it is actually the same display that's used in the Jumper EZBook 2, which also means that all the same pros and cons apply as well. The screen generally looks decent. The screen is a bit on the blue side, and viewing angles are not the greatest as well. Max brightness is around 300 nits, and the max coating eliminates a lot of glare when you're using the laptop outside. The two speakers are located on the bottom of the Jumper EZBook 3, and volume-wise, it's actually incredibly loud, a big improvement over the Jumper EZBook 2. Quality here is still not the best, it's passable, but the audio quality here is kind of in your face. You do have enough mids, bass, and highs, but it's really nothing that'll blow your socks off. Have a listen for yourself. Battery life here is actually good. It beats the previous generation Jumper EZBook 2 as well as the Chewy lapbook because it has a 10,500 mAh battery. I was able to get around 9 hours of light use before the laptop died, and this consisted mostly of web browsing, TV shows, and some typing out some documents as well. You can charge the laptop using a proprietary DC jack. I was kind of hoping for charging via USB-C, but that is something that Chinese manufacturers have not put into laptops just yet. The EZBook 3 has 4 gigs of RAM, 64 gigabytes of storage, as well as the new Apollo Lake N3350 processor, which is a dual-core processor. When I first got this laptop, I didn't really know how the N3350 would perform, but after some testing, it's pretty obvious that the performance here is not as good as the quad-core Apollo Lakes you find in the Chewy lapbook and in the Voyo laptops I tested as well. In light tasks, the EZBook 3 was slightly slower than my Chewy lapbook as well as the Voyo laptops. It obviously can't do 4K in Chrome, but it can do 4K in Edge. But the weird thing is that it also cannot stream 1080p video on YouTube and 60 frames per second in Chrome, which I was able to do on the Chewy lapbook as well as the Voyo laptops as well. I tried out some heavier stuff like Photoshop and video editing, and you can't really do either on this laptop. Gaming wise, it's actually the same situation. I couldn't play games like Dota 2 or COD Modern Warfare 3 at decent frame rates, but I could play older games kind of like Left 4 Dead 2 or Battlefront 2 at decent frame rates at 1080p but on lowest settings. Overall performance here isn't the best when you compare it to the Chewy lapbook. If you just want to do light things, you should be fine, but don't expect anything more than that. So to conclude, the EZBook 3 is actually a pretty decent laptop and is a pretty good bump over the older EZBook 2. But the problem isn't when you compare this to the older EZBook 2, but when you compare it to similar laptops. The starting price of the Jumper EZBook 3 is way too high when you consider that you can get the Chewy Lapbook, which has slightly better specifications, for cheaper. And the problem is that the Lapbook is actually a better laptop than the Jumper EZBook 3 in most respects. To be fair though, the EZBook 3 does get better battery life than the Chewy Lapbook, but that's about the only advantage the EZBook 3 has over the Chewy Lapbook. For now, I would stick with the Chewy Lapbook. This thing is awesome. The Jumper EZBook 3 actually isn't a bad laptop as well, but why pay more for this when you can get this for less? The EZBook 3 would have to have some pretty deep discounts before it becomes a good buy. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that video. Be sure to hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.